Hey guys, it's Justine here from I Should Read That, and today I am bringing you a reading vlog. So it's my week off. Hooray. It is Tuesday. We had a public holiday, a bank holiday yesterday on Monday. The last one of the year until Boxing Day, which kind of sucks. But I have been so exhausted and feeling a little bit burnt out at work that I decided to take a couple of days off. So I am off until Friday, which is very exciting. And yeah, so I thought that I would do a reading vlog because I'm hoping to use this opportunity to catch up with my reading that I have to do for the month of September. Because if you've seen my September TBR, things are a little bit crazy here. But starting Tuesday, it's like 1 o'clock. I have been in bed reading all day with Sophia and Dax. But starting off Tuesday with actually doing some exercise. I have my motivation coach right here. She likes to watch me. I've been doing Pamela Reif's like workout plans that are on her Instagram, and she has slowly been murdering me. And it's been horrible and really difficult, but it's actually been pretty good. So this is week 6 of doing that. So I'm going to be doing ab day, sweaty abs, which is not fun, probably my least favorite day. And yeah, I'm gonna have Dax staring at me. She likes to watch. She sometimes likes to put her head next to mine and kind of curl up while I'm like sweating and screaming in agony, which is good fun. But for the rest of the day, I'm planning on doing some video editing because yesterday was the first time in about 4 weeks that I actually filmed a video. I have been feeling really sick. I did like a COVID test and everything, which came back negative, hooray. And I had batch filmed a lot of stuff, so you probably haven't noticed as much of a gap as there has been, but it's been a long time since I've actually filmed anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some editing, hopefully get my September TBR up today or tomorrow. Hi. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing some reading. So I just finished Orphea by Joanne M. Harris. This is a novella. This is the 3rd one of hers that's based on the child ballads, which are sort of oral tradition of British folklore that are all collected by a man whose last name was Child. So that's why they have that name. And these are really lovely sort of autumnal atmospheric reads. I really, really enjoyed this. I literally just finished this and got changed into my workout clothes. You are being an absolute mush today. What is with this? But anyway, yeah, I really, really love this. I'll talk about this more in my September wrap-up, but it's probably a 4.5 out of 5 star read for me. It was just fantastic. These books, I think the first one is Pocket Full of Crows and the second one is The Blue Salt Road, are just wonderful. I really, really enjoy these and I look forward to these coming out every year. And I would highly recommend them if you're looking for some really good full reading. They're also illustrated. They're absolutely beautiful books, so I really enjoyed this. And then my kind of main read is definitely To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. I've been working on this book for like weeks and I'm only 200 pages in. My brain does not want this giant sci-fi book right now. It's just absolutely rebelling. But, you know, I'm giving it my best try because I do really want to read it and it's good. It's just one of those books where at the moment I want to read other things and I'm enjoying it while I'm reading it, but every time that I put it down, I just kind of lose the sort of compulsion to read it. So I'm hopefully going to get 300 pages in today. That'll be an extra 100 pages, and then I'm going to try to do 100 pages a day until I finish, because it comes out on the 15th, which is next week. We'll see how well that goes because I've been trying to do 100 pages a day for a while, and the fact that I'm on 200 pages means that this isn't really working. So yeah, I'm going to be going ahead and trying to read that, but I'm going to sprinkle in some other things, aren't I, this week, because I have a lot of good stuff that I want to read and I have a lot of shorter stuff that I want to read, so hopefully that will kind of keep up the sort of rewarding feeling of actually finishing books while I'm reading this 880-page sci-fi novel. So I think Dax is trying to tell me to get off my lazy ass, stop delaying, and bring the pain, hey? I love you so much, you're so cute. happy Wednesday. So in terms of reading and stuff, I haven't done a huge amount, but we do need to talk a little bit. So I have been working on To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini for about 3 weeks now. I am not very far for that amount of time. I'm on page 212, and I think I'm actually going to DNF this, but I'm not going to do like the chuck it out the window into an incinerator kind of DNF. I'm going to do a soft DNF, which basically means I'll come back to it in a year or two when I feel like maybe my brain is in a happier spot for this. I just like, there's something about it, I can't connect with the main character. I can't really connect with anything that's going on. It feels a little bit, I don't want to say unedited, but it feels a little bit sort of meandering. And I feel like this kind of story should have a lot more focus than it does have. So it's not to say it's a bad book or anything. I know a lot of people are really excited for this one, which I was too. I'm not enjoying it, and it's actually putting me a little bit into a slump. So after 3 weeks, I did finally decide that I was going to DNF this, which is funny because I am a huge proponent of DNFing. I am like the DNF queen. I love DNFing books because it means that I can move on with my life, but I do often have a really hard time making that decision. So hence why it's taken so long for me to DNF this one. I will say that a lot of my friends, especially book bloggers in the UK, are really loving this. So if it's something that you're excited for, I hope you all know this, but like just because I don't like a book doesn't mean that I think you guys shouldn't read it. All of this is just my opinion. I can't and shouldn't tell you what to do. But there are a lot of people who are enjoying this. Just because I didn't like it means literally nothing. So that's sad. I am really sad about that one. I was really looking forward to that, but I just kind of have to face facts in that it was putting me into a slump. So what I decided to pick up this morning, and I'm much more thoroughly enjoying, it's kind of a like guaranteed 4.5 or 5-star read, is The Trouble with Peace by Jo Abercrombie. So I have a digital copy of this, and I'm like 2% in, because I didn't have a lot of time to read it this morning, and I am absolutely loving it. It's so good. I just love his world so much. So this is the sequel to A Little Hatred, and I reviewed A Little Hatred last year after yammering on about it so much. So I'll link that above. I loved that book. I love all of his books, although I've had trouble with one of them. And that is intentionally not very interesting, I think. So I'm going to come back to the rest of his books that I haven't read. I've read all of the First Law trilogy, I've read Best Served Cold, and then I've read this first book in the Age of Madness, The Trouble of Peace being the second one. So that's kind of been my reading. I've not been doing a whole ton of reading. You can get a little insight into my life in quarantine. This is very much what it's been, but I have been knitting a lot and I've actually decided to start an Instagram for knitting and embroidery, because if you don't follow me on Twitter, I've been posting a little bit of my knitting and embroidery stuff, which actually I can show you a little bit of because my embroidery thing is sitting right in front of me. But if you want to follow that, I should stitch that and I'll link it down below if you're interested. If there are any like book lovers who are also knitters, I know that one of you, my friend Stephanie, is, and I'm so delighted to find that out. But if any of you guys are also knitters or crocheters, or you sew or embroider anything, let me know because I want to geek out with you. But basically, I'm making myself my first cardigan, which I'm very excited for. So I've done 3 parts of it. I finished up the right front side of it yesterday, but basically this is the color it's going to be, which is really nice. It goes down to about just kind of butt level. And I finished, this is my left side, or my right side, and look, it's got pockets, like actual legit pockets, which makes me so happy, because I'm one of those women who like won't buy a dress unless it has pockets. So it's gonna look really good. I'm so excited. And it's got buttonholes, and we went and got buttons today. So this is what it'll look like. I don't know if that focuses or not. Scottish husband's peeking in on me. But yeah, no, I'm loving it so far. I've been knitting for like 13 years, and I finally really got back into it in quarantine. I made my first cardigan, which I loved, and I'm making this one now, which is a Kim Hargreaves pattern. If you're a knitter, I'm obsessed with Rowan yarn, and I'm obsessed with Kim Hargreaves. So this will be really good. I'm currently doing, I just started my cuff of my sleeve, of one of my sleeves yesterday, so hopefully I'll be able to finish this by the end of September. But this is the reason that I'm not doing a whole ton of reading, because I'm fully knitting obsessed, and I should be listening to audiobooks while I knit, but instead, podcast recommendation time. I have been listening to, more like binging, Red-Handed, which is a British true crime podcast, and I am of the original My Favorite Murder generation. I started listening like when they were only like 30 episodes in or so. And I've kind of gone off of them for a number of reasons that we don't need to go into. But one of the things that I much prefer, I've found, with true crime is research is very, very important to me, and kind of like sensitivity towards victims, because it's all well and good to be a comedy podcast. That's actually what I prefer, because you get a lot of really good kind of like personality and stuff from the hosts. But I need the research to back it up. So I have listened to a ton of podcasts over the years, but recently I've been getting really into Red-Handed, which I would highly recommend. It's two British women, and I find that they are incredibly sensitive about a lot of different topics. They talk about a lot of really interesting stuff. They won't cover people like Ted Bundy and stuff like that, which I really appreciate, because why are people obsessed with Ted Bundy? I don't know. But they cover a lot of really interesting stuff that I've never heard of. They do a lot of British cases, and they do a lot of international cases. I also listened to the 8-part mini-series, like podcast series, called The Missionary, which is about that woman who was in Uganda and was accused of killing children by practicing medicine without a license. That was really good. That's dark, in case you can't tell. That's a really good one. And let me get my phone and see what else I've been listening to. Right, okay, my phone was in the other room. Okay, so I've been listening to Atlanta Monster, which is quite good. That's a really interesting one, because it's more about the investigation and the fact that there's a good possibility that they got the wrong man for the Atlanta child murders, which happened, I think, in the 70s or 80s. I've been listening to Slow Burn, which is quite good. They do, it's like each season is like a different subject. So it's David Duke this time around, which honestly I just don't have time. He was a white supremacist politician. I just don't have time to listen to that right now. I'm not really interested. But they did a series on Tupac and Biggie and their deaths, and they did a series on the Lewinsky scandal, which was really good. And they did a series on Watergate, which was the first one. That was excellent. That was really good. So I'd highly recommend that. What else do I have here? Okay, so I've also been listening to The Night Driver, which has just come out. I think only 2 episodes are out at the moment. That's really, really good so far. So if you are interested in that, which is about the disappearance of a woman in Australia in the 80s, I believe, sort of the botched investigation surrounding it. He did a podcast called The Teacher's Pet, which is excellent, but also really depressing, about a woman who her husband claimed she up and left her family. It's pretty clear that he murdered her and moved in his 17-year-old girlfriend, and it's all about the kind of child sexual abuse at the school that he participated in, and his new girlfriend was absolutely a victim of. That's excellent. That's one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to, but like, dear God, content warnings. It's really, really good though. So those are some of the podcasts I've been listening to while I've been knitting up an absolute storm during quarantine. I'm going through that because I don't really have much more to say about books. I should be having some things delivered soon for a very special project, which I don't really want to talk about quite yet. But in terms of book news, it's pretty much just going to be The Trouble with Peace for a while. I'm hoping to maybe do a little bit more reading today. I'm only 2% into that book, and it comes out in 2 weeks. And yeah, I really need to not focus on my knitting and embroidery as much as I have been. I really need to be focusing on reading, but life happens. Hello and happy Friday. I am done with my week off, tragically. I am back at work, which is great, except it seems like everything sort of set itself on fire while I was away, so my Friday has not been particularly relaxing, and I'm actually not going to do much of a lunch break other than just like shovel food into my face. I won't get to read over lunch, which is what I usually do, but I am about 10% into The Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie, which I'm reading on my iPad because I have the digital copy. Unfortunately, someone named Scottish Husband keeps stealing my iPad from me, which is very rude. So I needed a physical book to read as well while I couldn't actually get on my iPad because he was hiding it from me. So I picked up The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. So this is not on my TBR, neither is Orphea, which I talked about at the beginning of this vlog. Why do I make TBRs? I don't even know. But this looks amazing, and it was recommended by my friend Angela from Literature Science Alliance, who keeps just destroying my TBR because she's always reading really cool stuff that I haven't heard about. So I've just started this. I'm not very far. I think I'm like 25 pages in. I forgot to put in a bookmark. My life is chaos at the moment, but it's really, really good so far. So it's translated. I don't know what the translator's name is. Let's see. So the translator is Stephen Snyder. So he translated it from Japanese, and Yoko Ogawa, the Japanese author, apparently has won every major Japanese literary award, which is kind of incredible. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this so far. It's a very kind of quiet dystopian novel so far, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. It's not particularly long, but I might try to savor it. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, we'll see. But it's great, I'm really enjoying this. So I've got some really, really good reading on at the moment. The problem is that I'm just, you know, don't really have my lunch break today to read, which is unfortunate, because I'm trying to do a lot of catch up. And hi! Oh, here comes trouble. Hi, Dax. The troublesome kitten. The tiny terror. What was I saying? I don't remember. Something about just not having a lot of time to read today, but I do think that I'm going to go ahead and do a lot of reading tonight after work is over, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm hoping that this weekend will be a really, really solid one for reading, because again, there's just so much good stuff coming out. I'm feeling really, really motivated for BookTube. I filmed my end of the month videos the other day. I've got my wrap up scheduled to go up, which should be up by the time this vlog goes up. I've got my book haul ready to go, and I have a ton of ideas for new videos, and I have a kind of couple secret things that I'm working on at the moment. So I'm really hoping to keep fueling my potential content by actually reading some books. So we'll see, but it is, what, the 4th of September, and I've only read one book so far, which isn't that bad, but also, like, I've been off for a week. I would really have hoped that I would have done better. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to work. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up my lunch, get back to work, and yeah, hopefully this day doesn't end in chaos. We'll see how it goes though. So it is Saturday, technically Sunday. It's like 1:15 a.m., which is well past my bedtime. I don't think I've seen 1:15? No, it's 1:12, so we're just slightly short. I've not seen this time of morning in a really long time. So the reason that I am up this late is because there is like a pay-per-view wrestling thingy. I think it's the AEW or something like that was on that Scottish husband wanted to watch. I love professional wrestling because I think it's really fun. I was growing up in the 90s when a lot of like the really fun WWF stuff was happening, so like The Rock and, you know, China and Mankind and all of them are wrestling, so I have very vague ideas about like what wrestling is. So we were watching a bit of this new one, and I had to tap out, haha, because I'm just way too tired. But it's been a really, really good day. I had a huge lie-in which was awesome. We synced up with my sister and watched a really cheesy Netflix rom-com called, I think it's Love Guaranteed, which is basically a guy goes on 1,000 first dates through a dating app and decides he's gonna sue them because he's never like found love like they guarantee you do, and so he ends up falling in love with his lawyer, of course, which is actually really sweet. It's a very fun movie. I would definitely recommend it if you have like a spare like lazy Sunday or something like that. It was very sweet. And then I did a kind of spur of the moment live show with my friend Amber from Books of Amber. She wanted to do like just a Saturday night read-in and basically just get some reading done. And so I showed up on her channel, and I'll link her video above so you can go back and check it. Even though it was a live show, you can still go and watch that video, and it was really, really fun. Judith from Dead Good Book Reviews was there in the comments. Scottish Husband crashed. One of our friends came along. It was just a really, really, really good time. I had a lot of fun. And we did do some reading. We did about an hour total of reading, and I actually finished The Memory Police while I was doing that with her. I really, really love this. It's definitely a book that I think I need to digest a little bit before kind of saying my exact thoughts on it, but I thought it was fantastic. It's one of those books where if you want lots of clear-cut answers and you want a very strict kind of beginning, middle, and end, it's not going to be for you. It's a little bit more, I don't know, ephemeral, I guess, but it was fantastic. I really loved it. I think the translation is beautiful, and it was a really incredible kind of haunting story. I really like this. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're looking for more translated sort of sci-fi fantasy leaning books, because it's definitely a literary book, but it's a sci-fi fantasy book. Definitely a sci-fi book. So yeah, this was really good. I finished that during the read-in, and got to tell some like silly stories about like the time that I thought a giant pile of sticks was a badger den because Scottish Husband had convinced me it was. The first time I saw sheep in real life. Amber's cat Octavia showed up at a couple points actually, and Sophia and Dax guest starred. It was really fun. So if you want to check that out, that was linked above. And I might do some of these on my own channel at some point, so you can keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, I'm going to bed because I'm very, very tired. But tomorrow I'm going to get started in earnest on, not Little Hatred, that's the first one, The Trouble with Peace. I'm going to make sure I wrestle the iPad away from Scottish Husband so I can make sure that I get loads of reading done tomorrow. I'm not going to finish the book. I'm only 10% in, but I would like to be a good chunk of the way through so I could finish it during the week. That would be kind of my big goal. So in the meantime, I'm going to bed. I'm really tired. I'm too old for this. I have a feeling I'm going to be wrecked in the morning, but that's okay. Hello! So funny story, it has actually been 2 weeks since I filmed all the rest of my vlog. I was sat here, I've been a little bit behind, I've been sat here editing this vlog, and I realized that I never filmed an end to it. Apparently, the last bit that I filmed was Saturday night going into Sunday morning after the wrestling thing, which was really fun, but completely screwed both of us over. We are far too old to be staying up until 1 a.m. for me and like 3:30 a.m. for Scottish Husband, so Sunday was a complete and total wash, which I think is why I never filmed an ending to this. But hey, here we are now. So this is actually gonna go up tonight, hopefully, so hello from this evening. I got my friend Sophie here. We have been spending much quality time together, although she doesn't like to be on camera as much as Dax. You see a lot of Dax in this vlog. She's kind of all over us. It's a little weird. When we went into quarantine, or went into lockdown, Dax hid in the closet for a week because she couldn't deal with us being home all the time, and now, like, you can't get her away. Like, she's currently sat outside the door. I know she is. She's just waiting until we go to bed so that she can kind of stomp around all happy. Anyway, I got my cat friends. I've got all of my reading done that I had talked about in this vlog, so I'm just gonna run over that really quickly I'll stop rambling and we can go ahead and do this. So the first thing that I talked about was Joanne Harris's Orphea, which is lovely. It's a very, very sad book. It's all about a mother's grieving for her daughter who has died, and she's decided she's going to go basically into the underworld in order to retrieve her daughter because she believes that she is trapped there. Really, really good. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Those child ballad novellas that Joanne Harris does are really, really excellent. I've lost my friend. Then I read The Memory Police, which I talked about, I believe, a bit in this. I loved this. I thought this was fabulous. It's a very quiet dystopian novel. Definitely many shades of things like 1984. It's really, really, really good. I would highly recommend this. It's not a very long book, but it's one that you should definitely kind of savor and absorb because it doesn't really have a perfect beginning, middle, and ending. It's sort of like a snapshot of what life is like in this place. I thought it was wonderful. I don't think it'll be for everyone because it doesn't really have a huge amount of plot, but it was still really good. And this week I actually finished The Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie. I was sent a copy of this book by the publisher. I received it last weekend, in between filming the vlog and now. So I did finish this. I loved it. If you liked A Little Hatred, you're gonna love this too. It's fabulous. He's such a good writer. I don't know how much more I can say about Joe Abercrombie. You'll know how much I love his books, but I'll talk about that more in my September wrap up. My fairy lights are in the way. And on another note, I talked a lot about my knitting. I finished my cardigan. I'll pop this up on my Instagram, but it's fabulous and it's got pockets. I just need to wait for it to finish drying out because I blocked it. Blocking is basically where you wash it and it evens out a lot of the stitches and stuff. And I'm just waiting for it to dry and then I can actually wear it, which is really exciting. I need to sew buttons on it as well. So this I'll post on Instagram if you want to see it. I'll link the knitting and embroidery Instagram down below if you want to check that out. But yeah, it's been a good week. It's just not been the strongest reading week. I actually haven't read a huge amount in between this vlog and now because I was concentrating on A Little Hatred, but I have a ton of really, really good stuff. You can see some of it here. There's a little bit more hanging out over here that I'm hoping to read this month. A lot of really good things have come in. So yeah, keep an eye out for more videos on this channel and hopefully I'll do another reading vlog soon. I would love to know in the comments below if you read anything particularly good this week. If you've read any of these books, I would love to hear what you thought about them. And yeah, just shout out anything that you particularly love that you've read recently. I post bookish content to this channel fairly frequently, so go ahead and hit subscribe. Check back soon, and I will see you next time.